The Goomba King is the primary boss for Paper Mario's prologue chapter, in which serves as the tutorial for the game. He and the Goomba Bros serve as a blockade to prevent Mario and Goombario from entering Toad Town. For beginners, they may not realize you can simply smack the tree with a bandage to hit all three of them with a spiky goomnut, dealing decent damage and just spam power jump, and the battle is pretty much already over as quickly as it started. I personally think this battle was a bit too easy despite being a tutorial chapter, which is understandable, but I felt like for making such a grand entrance, only to be pathetically defeated in one fell swoop is undeserved, and should have made another appearance in Chapter 8 instead of fighting Junior Troopa for the millionth time. Here's how I think the scenario will play out. After Mario activates the switch, which launches the Goomba King far into the sky, he ends up crashing to Bowser's castle, causing major damage to the side. The Koopa Trolls and Gamecube investigate, only to find the Goomba King has suffered an embarrassing defeat and pleads for forgiveness and yet another chance to fight Mario once again, because he believes he's able to do it.
Silence, you impotent fool! Wait till Master Bowser hears about this, then you'll really have it.
So, the mighty Goomba King has fallen in battle, huh? And you believe that I grant you another chance to fight him, do you? Well, you guessed right. I'm in a good mood and will power you up with my amazing Star Rod. But you must promise me to keep training yourself until Mario gets here. Is that understood?
The Goomba King happily agrees with his conditions and has been powered up by this rod, and has developed new movesets, and his attack power has increased tenfold, and gains a considerable amount of defense as well. For the time being, the Goomba King is determined to defeat Mario for humiliating him back in the prologue chapter, and has been waiting in the shadows for Mario to arrive ever since. After Mario fell into the castle's dank dungeon, after falling for the talking Bowser door's trap, he used Watt to navigate around the darkened maze, only to discover the Goomba King was sitting in the dark. Mario was startled as he realized who stood before him, and swore he defeated him a long time ago. But before Mario had any time to react, the Goomba King took advantage of this confusion and ambushed him with an army of mega-sized Goombas, which flooded the dungeon, and Mario was taking damage repeatedly as he tried to pry them off him but can't let go of Watt. We'll see what's ahead of him. Mario then realized he needs to use his weapons and let Watt go, and fight in the dark in hopes of dealing damage to his enemies. The Goomba King charged up his attack power, similar to that of a Hyper Goomba, only that he's capable of quadrupling his power now instead of dealing one singular damage like back then. The mega-sized Goombas kept pressuring Mario and restraining him until Mario had a trick up his sleeve. He had an emergency power block in which he used to stun the Goombas so he can escape, and just as the Goomba King unleashed a powerful energy beam, Mario jumped out of the way in the nick of time, barely being grazed by the impressive attack. Mario was stunned by what he had witnessed, and before he had any time to react, the Goomba King teleported behind him thanks to his endless amount of training to improve his speed, and headbutt Mario so hard, he crashed through the dungeon wall, creating a crater triple the size of Mario. He was becoming weakened by this ordeal and was in desperate need of help, and his partners came to the rescue and tried to use their signature attacks like Bombette's Mega Explosion and Parakarry's Shell Shot, but they proved to be futile against the Goomba King's new and improved status. He swatted them all away like gnats, and they crashed to the wall as well. It seems like all hope is lost at the hands of the almighty Goomba King, until Mario and his team noticed a very slight flickering on the Goomba King's skin, almost as if his power seems to be wearing off for some reason. As it turns out, Bowser powered up the Goomba King, but only provided just enough to make him invincible temporarily. Mario and friends immediately took action and pummeled him with all sorts of attacks, like their lives depended on it, and while the Goomba King and his army of Goombas fought back, the King felt his power growing weaker, despite all his training, and had to sneak away to regenerate somehow. In the midst of this panicked thinking, Mario flew high into the sky with Parakarry's help, and swung his hammer with the might of 1,000 Koopas, and bashed the King on the head, who didn't even notice Mario there, and in one fell swoop, the King was defeated once again. Sorry, Master Bowser, I failed you yet again. Gamecube was watching the entire battle unfold through a crystal ball.
Seems this fool has underestimated his opponents and let all that power get to his head without forming an effective strategy.
No matter, he was destined to lose because he's weak, unlike me. Come, Cammy, we have much work to do before Mario reaches the top.